Disney World reopening dates have been announced. We've got announcements from a variety of different theme parks in the Orlando area, from SeaWorld to Disney to Universal Studios. Let's get to it and talk those details here today. Hey everyone, Dave K here with a special news announcement that theme parks including Disney World, Universal Studios, SeaWorld, and more in the Orlando area have released and announced their reopening plans to the Orange County Economic Recovery Task Force. And I want to break you through those plans here today, let you know those opening dates and some of the procedures that they're taking in order to make sure guests are staying safe. So let's start with the juiciest of details, the dates. We've got July 11th for the Magic Kingdom and the Animal Kingdom, and July 15th for Epcot and Hollywood Studios. Those are the dates that Disney has announced and earmarked that they're planning to reopen their parks. Now, this is quite some time after Universal Studios and SeaWorld Orlando are planning to reopen their parks. Universal Studios has announced June 5th as their planned date, and SeaWorld Orlando has announced June 11th with an Employee Appreciation Day on June 10th. So why is Disney waiting to open up past the other parks, you might ask? One of the thoughts that I have is Disney is such a larger theme park. It draws so many more people in. It's got so many more hotels to manage and so many more individual theme parks to manage. Maybe they're hoping to see how these other parks do, take a page out of those books, and kind of take that solution and scale it, right? It's a lot harder to manage 4 parks than it is to manage 1 park. So that's something to potentially keep in mind as to why Disney's taking this approach. We also haven't heard anything yet about those water parks at Disney or any of those resorts. I do have a little bit of information regarding what it says on the Disney Parks blog's website, but hopefully we'll get more information on those water parks, those hotels, and more as we move forward. Disney did announce they will be holding off on activities such as fireworks and other events that draw very large crowds to a small area in order to increase that social distancing, at least for a period of time. So maybe that's part of the reason why they're postponing that date until past July 4th as well. Maybe they want to save the truly magical July 4th until next year. Reservations will also need to be made in advance to go to Disney World. They've detailed a little bit of information regarding the new reservation system in that it'll allow existing ticket holders and pass holders to make reservation requests in phases before new tickets are sold. So if you have an annual pass or you have a ticket that's already booked, maybe you had to cancel your plans or adjust your plans. I'm not 100% sure what the existing ticket holder exactly means. Maybe you had plans for October and you're going to change those around, but those plans can be made before new tickets are sold. So if you've got existing plans, you're in luck. Disney also specifies that new reservations and hotel reservations will open up after that period of time. So it doesn't detail too much regarding those hotels and whether you'll be able to make those hotel changes or reservations if you have existing tickets prior to that date where new ticket reservations will be sold. A little bit more clarity on that I still need to get, and hopefully we'll get that in the future days. But we do know that if you have those existing plans or you're an annual pass holder, you'll be able to make those plans before those new tickets are sold. So I would imagine similarly you'll be able to make those changes to resorts if needed, and perhaps they'll only open those hotels up to those with existing plans for the time being until they scale that to those new tickets. It also sounds as if DVC resorts will be opening up as soon as June 22nd, so those should be opening up sufficiently soon if you're looking to make plans as soon as that first opening day of either of those parks. One of the reasons I'm envisioning Disney made this adjustment that you need reservations is, of course, the crowds. They want to make sure they're managing these crowds prior to people showing up at the gates. A lot of people plan their travel to go to Disney World and they don't want to be turning people away at the gate. So instead, they want to develop a new system where you book your reservations before you fly down and enjoy your magical vacation. They don't want to be turning anyone away at the gate. So instead, you make these plans in advance. They can limit and control their capacity in advance, and that'll make sure that people get exactly the magical experience that they're hoping for, and Disney can protect everyone's well-being. Disney has also outlined for us here a nice little diagram specifying several of the health and safety protocols they're going to be focusing on. They've got enhanced protective measures, they've got physical distancing, they've got enhanced cleaning and sanitation, they've got temperature and health screening, and they have limited contact enhancements. And I'm going to take you through sort of a summary of a few of those here shortly. Those enhanced protective measures will include a few of the precautions we've seen before, including face coverings, maybe similar to that of Disney Springs, and of course temperature checks. Temperature checks and thorough cleaning will be conducted in both guest and cast member areas, so you'll see a lot of adjustments if you're on the cast member's side to some of the precautions taking place on that side of the park. It's nice that they're looking out for everyone in the parks, everyone's well-being. Physical distancing will also be increased, as I already touched on. Fireworks will be temporarily suspended, and as will parades and other events that can draw those larger crowds. In addition to that reduced capacity of the parks, right? People will need to book online to reserve their location, to reserve their spot to come to Disney World on a given day or a given week. So that will help increase that safety, increase that physical distancing by reducing their capacity. I touched on that enhanced cleaning and sanitation, but you can envision there will be cleaning in every area you can possibly imagine throughout the parks, in addition to some of the touchless hand sanitizer and other functionality that helps us keep ourselves clean, in addition to that cleaning that cast members conduct for us. Regarding temperature and health screening, Disney's taking several precautions on this front, similar to what we've seen at Disney Springs, regarding third-party screening with contactless handheld devices, but they're also adding in on-site temperature checks for their cast members in guest-facing areas, and of course daily at-home temperature checks and health assessment. I found this one very interesting to hear that Disney is going to be conducting that for their cast members so that they're 100% sure that everyone's staying well. And then limited contact enhancements are very interesting as well. I saw Disney touched on a few times the contactless payment. So you've got Magic Bands, Apple Pay, Google Pay, other cashless transactions or cashless payments, allowing people to really maximize that social distancing by using the technology and systems that are in place that allow people to keep their distance. This also includes mobile orders. Perhaps we'll see, I'm not 100% sure on this front, but enhancing mobile orders could possibly mean you order your food at a table. For example, I'm thinking to myself, maybe Columbia Harbor House, you'll see, maybe you put in an order on mobile order, and instead of you going up to the counter to pick it up, maybe they'll drop it right at your table, so you can just kind of go straight to your table, not have to worry about standing in a line or interacting with anyone else. That'd be very interesting, but we do know there will be a lot of focus on those mobile order options and other limited contact enhancements. Of course, this does mean the suspension of activities like meet and greets and playgrounds on Disney property. They'll be reducing some of those events that have more contact. And of course, it does make sense that these changes are being made, and I can totally understand why this would be one of the first things you want to make sure that you're suspending until things become safer for everyone. Additionally, plexiglass at points of sale. You may have seen in your local grocery stores, plexiglass at point of sale when you're typing into the cash register or scanning your card to pay for your groceries. Similarly, at Disney, you may see plexiglass where you're paying for your food or purchasing individual items at a shop. You might see plexiglass between you and the register to make sure you're minimizing that airspace and not spreading too much between yourself and the register. And of course, Disney has quite a bit of signage they're preparing, or they have prepared for this as well. They went through detailing a couple of those signs, including the face covering, temperature screening, and all the components required for entry, only one party at a time, kind of reducing and minimizing those crowds in given spaces, kind of communicating the importance of wearing face covering and warning about the situation at the current time. So that should give you a pretty good deep dive on Disney World, and I also read Disneyland can reopen in Stage 3 of California's reopening. We don't have too much information on that yet, but in Stage 3 is when the state said that theme parks should be able to open. That's what I read thus far, and that could be anywhere between 1 month and 3 months from now, so maybe that'll be similar to when Disney World is planning to reopen. Of course, that is subject to change. There's been no announcement on that front in terms of reopening plans, but it's nice to hear that Disneyland does have some processes taking place in terms of considering reopening their parks as well. Taking a quick look at SeaWorld and Universal Orlando's policies, those policies are very similar in that you'll see a lot of face masks, temperature checks, and other precautions taken to make sure that they're maximizing guest and team member safety. So that covers a pretty good overview of what the reopening of these theme parks will look like in the Orlando area. I'm looking forward to sharing future adventures with you and checking out these parks as they reopen, and of course sharing more information with you as I become aware of it. Really excited for the future, and I'm glad we're able to focus on safety and well-being during this time. Thank you so much for being a part of these adventures with me. Did you get all the information you were looking for on this one? Is there any other information that you've heard that you'd like to share? Let us know in the comments below. And if you haven't already, consider hitting that subscribe button and ringing the bell to stay informed of future adventures. And until next time, play on. Hey everyone, Dave K here today with a special update on Disney news and other theme park news. I want to take you through the reopening plans. Disney announced their plans as well as other Hey everyone, Dave K here today with the Disney World and other theme park reopening plans. Plans have been announced to the Orange County Economic Task Force. Hey everyone, Dave K here with... So let's start with the juiciest of details. But at least we know that if you have existing plans, you should be able to go ahead and make those adjustments. Those enhanced protective measures do include the face masks and face coverings, similar to what we've seen at Disney Springs, or maybe some new system, and also the thermometer. Those enhanced protective measures will include a few of the physical distancing will also be increased, as I touched on already. Fireworks will be canceled, or will be. I touched on that enhanced cleaning and sanitation, but you can imagine regarding the temperature